Alrighty folks, we are going to go ahead and do a nighttime mountain drive on the 2021 Subaru Ascent. This is my husband's vehicle. This is the one that replaced the 2017 Outback. May she rest in pieces wherever she is, or if she's been sold somewhere, that's cool too. But this vehicle did replace the 17 Outback, and I have to say it's pretty delightful. I actually really do like this vehicle a lot. This one does have the 2.4 liter turbocharged boxer horizontally opposed 4-cylinder engine, mated to a continuously variable transmission that has 8 simulated ratios if you decide to use the paddle shifters, but otherwise it will go ahead and act very much like a CVT, which is a feature that I like for a variety of reasons, and I'll tell you those in a second. This one does have automatic brights, so you will see them flashing on and off periodically. It's going to do its best to try to give me as much light as possible. As you guys have seen from the Tucson video, it's relatively dark, so this will do its best to guide me as much as it can. The headlights also move with the steering wheel, and it's kind of funny because it looks like a lazy eye if it goes too far to one side, so it's a pretty neat feature to have. So, as a somewhat of a car enthusiast, I've always really hated CVTs, but Subarus have been a little different for me. I did like the way the Outbacks behaved, but I really do like the way it behaves on this Ascent. CVTs actually pair really well with turbocharged 4-cylinders, oh my gosh, there was a deer in the road, or 6-cylinder engines, and this one, with it being 260 horsepower, it gives you a pretty good slingshot feel whenever you're going to accelerate hard. Like the Subaru Outback, it does mimic shift points. However, this one will not mimic shift points up until you really get into the torque band of around 4,000 RPMs. Otherwise, it will go ahead and just behave like a normal CVT. And I really do like that because that will help you save some fuel, considering the fact that if you go from an Outback to this Ascent, you will be utilizing a lot more fuel over time. It's a bigger vehicle, the engine's more powerful, all-wheel drive systems are naturally very heavy, and this vehicle is just a heavy vehicle overall, but we've been blessed with it, that's for sure. It's been a nice vehicle. That deer scared me. Now I'm like worried. I was like, oh man. So I'm gonna do the same route that I did with the Tucson. I'm gonna drive through the university, and then I'll go ahead and loop back around, and you guys will be able to see our little excursion back home. Then what I'll do is I'll also accelerate it a little harder as well when we ultimately get to the same street, so you can see those simulated shift points. Now, a lot of people have not liked this vehicle for a variety of reasons, one of which there have been some known transmission problems. And yes, a lot of it was due to software, but it does make people weary of a CVT. If you do go with Subaru, I'd recommend an extended warranty, as that will ultimately help your situation a little bit. Additionally, many think that these Subarus are very jumpy vehicles, and I have to agree with them to an extent. It's very hard to be smooth with the gas pedal on this vehicle, just due to the fact that it wants to jump forward very quickly. And it's not something that I particularly enjoyed even with the Outback, and with this one it's arguably exacerbated because the CVT likes to remain in lower ratios, especially right now since I'm on a little bit of an incline. It's noticing that and immediately trying to downshift. So the transmission programming could be a little better, as it does make the vehicle a little too jumpy for my taste, but it's not awful. You definitely get used to it over time. And what I do like about it is with the turbocharged engine, it can remain pretty quiet and in the low RPM range, just due to the fact that it doesn't require as much power. Godly, potholes galore. All right, so let's take a little drive through the university, shall we? But I do like the fact that it is extraordinarily quiet. This is the premium trim. It doesn't have every single option, but what I do like is that it comes with adaptive cruise control, and it also comes with a lot of standard safety features. I had mentioned in my previous Ascent video, the blind spot monitoring is added, and that's on the premium trim, but your base trim will get the eyesight as well as the forward end collision, adaptive cruise control, and all that jazz. What I also do like about it is that there's very minimal body roll. A lot of these bigger SUVs, they tend to have a significant amount of body roll. This one feels extraordinarily stable. The suspension on it is a little rough, considering its class of vehicle, but I actually kind of like that because you feel a little bit more stable when you're going around these curves. You don't feel like you're driving a boat. It feels very solid, very planted, and confident. And that's what I really do like about it. The competitors, such as the Honda Pilot, those can definitely have a little bit more body roll and make you feel a little less secure on the road, but this is extraordinarily solid. It feels very sturdy. It feels like it's gonna last for an extraordinarily long period of time. Going through this roundabout again. Hey, there's that Honda Civic again. I think that was the one that almost hit me in the Tucson video. But let's go ahead and get you guys out onto the main street. I'll accelerate a little harder so you can see how the CVT behaves in shift mode. It's arguably a lot faster, and it really slingshots this engine. It's a lot of fun. Okay, here we go. All right, ready, set, go. Oh my gosh, it's so much more powerful than that of my car. Oh my god, this car is so fun. I'm not gonna lie, for a big vehicle and just a 4-cylinder, that was great. Like, it just gets up and goes. You can hear the little whirring of the turbo. It's actually really nice. It was so smooth, so linear, and the shifts on it were crisp. And that's what I really like about these new CVTs, is sometimes you don't even know because they shift so quickly. Shift in quotation marks, by the way. I know that they don't actually have gears, but it's nice. Like, I really do like that. It's a very crisp shift. And even the Outback in that we had before, that was even one that arguably was very crisp and very, you know, planted, nice. It was confident in what ratio it needed to be in. This one, same exact thing. It's very confident in what it needs to be in. With the 8 simulated ratios, you get a little bit of a lower gap, or a smaller gap, so it really does help out your acceleration. But what I like now is that it's acting like a regular CVT. I don't have to worry about it, you know, trying to shift again. It's just gonna, you know, be in CVT mode and utilize it from there. Keep my RPMs down, save me some fuel. It's really, really, really nice. One thing it is easy to do in this vehicle is speed, and we learned that the hard way. Unfortunately, my husband did get a speeding ticket in this a couple weeks ago. It got dismissed, but still, I was just like, man, I can't blame you. Like, it's really easy to go fast in this vehicle, but it's also just an incredibly smooth ride. Despite the suspension being a little rough, it's an incredibly smooth ride. Adaptive cruise control is pretty good. We have noticed some hiccups in the safety features. For example, forward end collisions come on a couple times. And this is mainly in rain and snowstorms that we've seen this happen. It sometimes reads the wall as an object and it'll try to veer off. Lane keeping assist, I had mentioned on the Tucson, it's very precise. It's still pretty good in this vehicle, but it has been, at one point it did actually send us into the lane over, and so I mean there have been some times where this could be a little more refined. I'll go ahead and just do a regular acceleration for you. As you can see, the RPMs are already starting to come down. It's not stumbling over itself, and it's just overall behaving like a CVT. It's doing a nice job. Engine's plenty powerful, like I said. We ended up getting the seven-seater, but you can opt for a middle bench seat instead of 2 captain's chairs. We really like the captain's chairs idea a little bit better. If you guys had seen in my previous review, we did have a little bit of cramped headroom when we got to the way back, but otherwise, it's a very comfortable vehicle and fits our needs perfectly. Like the Tucson, it's very confident. It knows where it wants to go. It's very planted. Surprisingly, this feels a little more precise than the Tucson. The Tucson's not sloppy in handling by any means, but this right here, I moved the steering wheel just a little bit and it's ready to go. It definitely pulls no punches. It wants to go. It's going to tell you where to go, and it's just a very confident vehicle, and it's very responsive, so I do like that. The steering on this is a lot more responsive than that of the Tucson. Hyundais generally have had what's known as a numb steering feel, and it's carried over even from 2011 up until now. I'm not sure what their new vehicles are doing, but this one just feels a little bit more alive in terms of the steering mechanism. So I give kudos to Subaru on that. I really like the way their steering feels, and you know, the handling of this vehicle, it's so easy to drive despite it being large. Visibility in this is great as well. Subarus, I mean, granted back then they were nothing but windows and metal. Now they have a little bit more, a little more in terms of the pillars to of course hold the airbags and such, but even then the visibility in this is really, really, really good. Alright, I have to watch out for that deer because I'm on the same street. I'm like, now I'm scared. Oh my gosh, I really am just not a fan of animals being in the middle of the street. That's the one thing I miss about Vegas. All you had to worry about was mountain lions, but they wouldn't come close to the city unless if we encroached on them. Plus, I don't think my partner would be happy if I hit a deer with his car. That would be a little problematic. Brakes on this Subaru are markedly responsive, however, so hopefully that won't happen. Let's go ahead and slow down again. Like I said, there's been some cops around here pretty diligently pulling people over, and fortunately we were the victims last time, so definitely not looking for that again. I'm gonna turn on my automatic brights now. I'm gonna watch out for that deer. But yeah, guys, I mean, this is a very comfortable vehicle. The Tucson seats are a little bit more comfortable than this vehicle. It has a little bit of an overstuffed feel to them, but it's not bad by any means. It's actually it's a very comfortable ride, and you don't have to worry about, you know, the seat poking you per se. It's just going to be a little stiff when it comes to your upper and upper back. Your lumbar may be a little stiff as well, but it's still cushy enough. God, now I'm scared. Because that deer was running at me too. I'm gonna go a little slower, guys. For these, I don't want to hit an animal. Again, like I've mentioned, I have seen people walking down the street before doing the walk of shame, and it's scary. Like, I just imagine this dark street. Now, granted, when I saw it, all these trees were still up, so you couldn't even get light from the sun. It actually gets a lot darker in times when the leaves are on the trees. So I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty spooky. don't mind me, just going pretty slow. Oh, geez. Okay, I'm almost home, I'm almost home, I'm almost home. Yeah, one thing I don't do well, folks, is when I see animals, because they kind of make me nervous, especially deer. Like, there was a meme going around where, like, it showed Miley Cyrus's face, and it was like and then it showed like a skittish deer when you hear a leaf rustle, or when you hear the leaves rustling or ruffling or whatever. But when you're going at them at 60 miles an hour, it shows like Miley Cyrus, like her face, like in the headlights, and I'm thinking, yep, that's exactly how it happens. So I'm just gonna be extraordinarily careful. Okay, I don't see anything. I think we're okay. Cool, I'm letting my guard down a little bit. But yeah, this concludes this test drive of the 2021 Subaru Ascent. This thing is a phenomenal vehicle, and I really do recommend it. Drives comfortably. It's a stiffer ride than that of your competitors, but you will notice that it will take really good care of you. Especially it's gonna feel very stable. It's gonna feel secure. It's a safe vehicle overall with Subaru standard safety features. Yeah, my Tucson takes that bump a little bit more gently, but it's definitely a vehicle that I would recommend. It hasn't given us any issues, and it's just been a gem. And you know, if you do have kids and you want a minivan alternative, like, this is really good for you. I'm not gonna lie. It's a very well-behaved vehicle overall. So that concludes it, guys. You guys have a safe and happy 2021. As we all know, 2020 has been garbage. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you soon with another. Have a good one.